I thought I was born in the US until ICE broke my door down. I always felt like an outsider in my family. While my entire family had fair skin, blue eyes, and red hair, I had darker skin, wavy dark brown hair, and dark brown eyes. I looked nothing like them, and they made sure I didn't forget it. But when I asked if I was adopted, my parents laughed it off, said no, of course not, and made sure I didn't ask again. 25 years later, I was sitting on my couch in my apartment that I worked my butt off for, in my pajamas. It was my day off, and I had a rule not to get dressed until noon. I was about to take a bite of my cereal when someone suddenly banged hard on my apartment door. I guess I wasn't fast enough to answer it, because a moment later, the door smashed open, splinters flying in every direction. My heart raced in my chest, and I started to sweat as 4 men dressed for war came barging into the apartment. I instantly raised my hands in surrender. "I don't have anything of value here," I squeaked in alarm. The leader of the group shot me a strange look. "We aren't here to rob you," he said sharply. "Are you Marcella Jackson?" The blood drained from my face. Yes, I stammered. He took a step forward, producing a pair of handcuffs. "Please don't fight," he warned me. "You're being detained by ICE. You will be deported to your country." I stared at him for a moment, then I laughed harshly. "You have got to be kidding me," I snarled. "I'm an American. I was born here. I have all the necessary documents." My voice was getting louder with each word. The leader shook his head slowly. "We have a warrant for your arrest," he said. "You weren't born in America, and whatever documents you have were given to you illegally." I shook my head in denial. "No," I whispered. "My family wouldn't do this to me, right? They always hated me, but they wouldn't stoop this low, would they?" I had to figure out what role my family played in this. Tears entered my eyes and dripped down my cheeks. I was close to hyperventilating. "Can I make a phone call first?" I pleaded. He hesitated, exchanging glances with his team. Finally, he sighed and took a step back. "I really shouldn't do this, but clearly you're going through some shit," he said calmly. "One phone call, then you're coming with us." I nodded and snatched my phone off the coffee table. I pulled up Mom's contact and called. She answered on the last ring. "What, Marcella?" she demanded. "I'm busy." Hearing her voice made me speechless. Suddenly, I couldn't remember what I wanted to say to her. I choked on a sob, then managed to get the words out. "I'm going to ask one final time," I whispered. "Was I adopted?" There was a slight pause before she laughed, a high-pitched sound that made me twitch. "No," she snapped. "Don't lie to me," I yelled suddenly. "I'm an adult now. Tell me the truth. Tell me why ICE just smashed my door open and now I'm being deported to a country I didn't know I was from." Mom hesitated. I could feel the tension coming from her through the phone. "Marcella, I need you to know that we love you," Mom finally said quietly. "We might not have shown it much, but we do. We always have. That's why we chose you." "What are you talking about?" I whispered. Mom sighed. "You might hate us after hearing what I'm about to tell you." I was running out of patience. "Just tell me," I yelled. "You were born in Santa Rosa, Mexico," she finally said quietly. The floor dropped out from under my feet. "How on earth did you adopt me?" I demanded. I could feel my breathing start to pick up. The lead ICE agent stood stiffly beside me, probably hearing the whole conversation. There was another pause, more hesitation. "We never adopted you," she said. My heart dropped and my hands started to shake. "What are you saying?" I asked. "We never adopted you," she repeated. "We didn't go through any legal channels to take you with us. We just couldn't leave you behind at that orphanage we were volunteering at. You were so sad and pretty. We couldn't leave you behind." I was definitely hyperventilating. "You kidnapped me?" I whispered. "You were an orphan," Mom said sharply, defensively. "No one wanted you and no one was going to miss you." I suddenly leaned to the side and threw up all over the floor. Surprisingly, the ICE agent patted me awkwardly on the back, as if he was trying to comfort me. "You stole me from my home and lied to me about my heritage for 25 years, I said calmly. "I hope it was worth it, because you're never going to hear from me again." I hung up before she could protest. ICE took me into custody, and weeks later, I found myself on the streets of Santa Rosa, Mexico. The ICE agent who arrested me had provided me with a file on my past, a true file. It had the address of the orphanage I was from. Time for me to figure out who I was.